Gatekeepers. That might sound like a mid-level boss in a video game, but it is actually a real issue transgender people have to deal with, and it is hotly contested within the community. So what are gatekeepers? Gatekeepers are people in the medical community, namely therapists, who decide whether or not we are able to go through the next step of transition, whether it be hormones or surgery. Some people say that gatekeeping is a good thing because it roots out those who are unsure about themselves, while others, like myself, think it is more harmful than it is good. Oh, don't get me wrong, I think it is important to see a therapist throughout the transition process, because transitioning can be a difficult time. There's a chance of losing friends and family and having workplace issues and just adapting to your new life, and also all those pent-up feelings growing up with bullies and having to pretend to be somebody else. But I don't think it is in anybody's place to decide whether or not somebody is transgender. I can't decide if you're transgender. Somebody you pay $100 an hour can't decide if you are transgender. It is ultimately a personal decision. I feel that gatekeeping is not really for the client's benefit, but for medical practitioners. They are worried that a trans person will come back later to them and sue them. Be like, I didn't know that surgery would do this. I never could have guessed. And it really boggles my mind, because somebody can waltz into a plastic surgeon's office with a snapshot of a celebrity and be like, I want to look like this, and I want like really, really big boobs, and like now, and the doctor be like, well, I just had an appointment cancel on me this afternoon, so I'll squeeze you right in after my lunch. Yeah. And they don't have to get a letter from their therapist to make sure that they're mentally okay with this. And early on, people had to see therapists, and they had to kind of present a new showing of themselves. In the 70s, people had to agree to lose all contact with friends and family, move far away. When they showed up to appointments, they needed to wear very, 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 very pink dresses and be kind of the cisgender's stereotypical idea of what is a woman, which is very frustrating. And it's sad to see that sometimes this kind of bleeds over into today. Some therapists, if a client doesn't show up wearing a dress, might be more reluctant to give them a letter. One of the issues I've also have is kind of when you're deciding whether or not you're going for therapy or going to get your letter. I ran into an issue where I talked about my depression, and then I saw my chance to get my letter go back a few weeks, because they were not sure if I was ready for transition, because it would be very hard on such a depressed person like me. So let me get this right. I was depressed because I didn't have the correct hormones. But because I was depressed, they won't give me the letter so that I can get the correct hormones. What kind of catch-22 logic is that? Now, there are a lot of great therapists out there now who are well trained in transgender issues and don't practice gatekeeping so much. But I've also, when I was working with my therapist, I had to teach them what being transgender is, so they can decide if I was transgender. That makes no sense at all. So, what do all of you think about gatekeepers? Good, bad, Should they go? Should they stay? What is the role of a therapist? And do we really need all these letters for all the steps in our transition, hormones, surgeries, and everything? Or would it be okay just to see a doctor and agree to see a therapist while you're seeing the doctor at that time to deal with life's issues? So I'd love to hear what everybody thinks. Yeah,